Due to Lonzo Ball being injured the past couple of seasons, people are starting to forget just how good of a prospect he was coming out of college. Obviously, part of that hype coming from his dad saying that he would beat Michael Jordan in a 1v1. A little bit extreme, right? But some more hype coming from the classic and a very legendary video by Mike Korzemba saying that he is Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical. Quite obviously, that wasn't the case, but Lonzo Ball still and has been a very solid and productive NBA player. Unfortunately, as we've seen, Lonzo Ball's career has not went the way we want it to happen, right? Injuries happen, stuff like that. I really hope he can come back and play, but that is not looking extremely likely at this point. With that being said, all my prayers are up to Lonzo Ball. Hopefully he can come back extremely healthy. With all that being said, we have a player in this year's draft class with the draft quickly approaching that I think is still being slept on. A player that I can compare to Lonzo Ball with a very similar attribute and skill set, both of them being great locker room players, great people, and great players in general, and that is Ausar Thompson out of Overtime Elite. I believe both of them had very similar skill sets coming into the draft, with Ausar Thompson and Lonzo Ball both having the similar problem where their jump shot is a little hit or miss. Obviously, people were a lot more hype about Lonzo's jump shot because it was more effective in college than what ended up being in the NBA, but they both have problems with really shooting mechanics that really we didn't know it could be fixed. Obviously, Lonzo Ball ended up being able to fix his jump shot, and I think the same with Ausar Thompson, where I think that he could also fix some of the minor problems in his jump shot, both of them having jump shots that are less than ideal, but eventually could be solid. And with that being said, I don't want to focus too much on the cons about Ausar Thompson because I think there are so many pros about him as a player that people are sleeping on. Obviously, him having a twin at Amen Thompson is not doing it many favors because Amen is such a good prospect. But in my personal opinion, I think Ausar is just right behind Amen. I think Ausar has some of the skill sets that Amen doesn't have, and Ausar definitely is one of the best players in, I think, about 3 categories in this entire draft, which really tells you how good of an upside Amen has. But Ausar Thompson really shows to me that his floor is extremely high. I think personally, obviously he's an elite athlete. It kind of runs in the family. He jumps well off of both feet. And the nice thing about it too is he has a quick bounce. He really just jumps and there's very little load and he's jumping 40 inches. It's pretty wild if you watch him play that's exactly how he jumps. And on top of that, we can talk about his defense being one of, if not the best on-ball attack defender in the entire draft class. He's extremely quick hands, he's extremely coordinated, and thinks about everything he does on defense before he does it. Extremely calculated, and might just be the best on-ball defender in this entire draft class. On top of that, when his team also picks him up on defense, he's extremely good at creating easy buckets off of cutting, right? I think of times that, let's say Amen gets a steal. Ausar has this knack to really get behind the defense and get easy buckets and really capitalize on transition plays. And I think that's something that great NBA players have and future great NBA players have. And I think that's why I think he will eventually become an all-star, because he has that just sixth sense to know where he needs to be. He's a great cutter in the offense also. So not just in transition, but also when he's just playing, period. He is one of the better cutters in all of this draft class. I think Ausar is a top tier talent in this class that you can really not miss out on. I think on top of that, with him being 6'7", there's the potential of him being a point guard in the NBA at 6'7". I don't think he translates to point guard as well. I think personally he's going to become a solid playmaking shooting guard, if that makes any sense. I think he isn't quite a good enough of a playmaker to get as much burn at the 1 at the NBA level, but I think that it's going to be close, and I think that he does get some playing time at the 1 eventually. It also depends on what team he goes to and their needs and stuff like that. So in reality, he's a versatile player, and I think his defense, as we talked about earlier, can be really good in both of the ways that he can defend, in my opinion, pretty much 1 through 4, where he's athletic enough to block shots on the perimeter and in the post with the bigger bodies, which is something you don't see a lot in this draft class. And Ausar Thompson is one of those guys, and really his brother also, are just great defenders all around. So I think personally, Ausar Thompson could very well be the best defender in this entire draft class, and I think that really is what sets him above a lot of these players, right? Being a great defender, and on top of that, being a solid playmaker at 6'7". There are questions about his jump shot, but that happens. I mean, you're not going to find the perfect player, especially when there's projected to go mid-lottery. I just don't see how you're going to get, a LeBron James. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to get a Victor Wembanyama, that type of hype player, when you're talking about drafting 6th overall or 7th overall. But what I think that Ausar is he's going to go 6 or 7, and he's going to be a very solid player all around. I think, as I talked about, his floor is super high, where he's going to come in the league NBA ready and really provide for any team that he ends up going to right away. I don't think that he's going to be a all-NBA player at any point in his career. He very well could be, but I personally don't see that happening. But I could see him, maybe being a 3 or 4-time All-Star once his career is all said and done, being a high-level contributor on some playoff teams and potentially even some championship winning teams. So I think Ausar Thompson is possibly the highest floor player in this entire draft class. That's my personal opinion on Ausar Thompson. As I said, my draft day comparison to him is Lonzo Ball. And when I say that, is that if he exceeds Lonzo Ball, that is fantastic. But I don't want to compare him too much to Lonzo Ball, where if he doesn't become as good as Lonzo Ball, that's a disappointment. Because I think Ausar could provide at the NBA level in different ways that Lonzo Ball has. But I think that the most likely end up being a Lonzo Ball 2.0 type of player, which is actually really good if you don't watch a lot of Lonzo Ball, which, him being injured makes sense, so I can't really blame you. So that's my opinion on Ausar Thompson. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It's been your boy Jelson. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.